belated Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome to the final episode of Skul Bilong for this year 2014. This month, we bring you highlights of carols by candlelight from schools in Port Moresby, as well as a Christmas and New Year message from the Education Secretary, Dr. Michael Tapo, and much more. Let's begin the program with these carols by candlelight.
School holidays are the periods during which schools are closed. To end the 2014 academic year, elementary, primary and secondary schools throughout Papua New Guinea shared a fantastic evening of Christmas entertainment with students, teachers, parents and guardians. End of school year celebrations see students, teachers and parents gather to sing Christmas carols by candlelight and perform Christmas dramas and dances. The event is held annually, making it all the more special for the students who celebrate Christmas together as an end-of-school tradition. The students of Salvation Army Primary School in Port Moresby, nation's capital, ended their academic year with the event of carols by candlelight.
We will be dancing our carols by candlelight dance, and I will be one of the angels that are going to take part at the dance.
A lot of interesting and enjoyable events in which everybody can partake brings the true spirit of Christmas to communities for adults and children alike. Growing up doesn't have to mean not enjoying Christmas. It just means learning to enjoy Christmas in a different way.
I love Christmas because we get to get presents and have the week off.
Launching of the school's Golden Jubilee was one of the exciting closing events Marinville Secondary School in Port Moresby experienced. Smiles, joy and laughter, and even personal talents were shared among the students, teachers, the principal and the public.
This launching gives an okay for the Act Marinville to do fundraising using the school's name.
So this launching is like 1 year preparation now. We'll be doing lots of fundraising, preparation, that's what we're all about, preparing ourselves to have a very big celebration grand. You've seen the small location here, but it's going to be a big blast May 2016, come May 2016. So my special appeal to parents, friends, fellow ex-students and teachers, those students I taught, please come along, your good old school, and come and see what it's like, still very much alive and well.
The school hall is packed with excited children, each proud to present the type of Christmas item and character they are to perform. Before the children leave for holidays, all doors are open as children, teachers and adults celebrate together the true spirit of Christmas.
My name is Christine, and I'd like to wish Papua New Guinea a very happy Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
I would like to wish my family and friends a very Merry Christmas, and not forgetting my father Atari.
I really love about Christmas is going to the village and stay with my grandparents.
The increasing number of children selling items on the streets of Port Moresby shows that while some students are at home enjoying their school holidays, some are being forced to provide for their families. Watch next.
I want better, safer and more quality education for the children of Papua New Guinea for the next coming years.
I want better health services for children all around Papua New Guinea for the next coming years.
Children have rights. Under the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of the Child, children have the right to the following: right to live, right to an identity, right to be cared for by their parents, and there are many more. On September 30, 1990, Papua New Guinea became a signatory to the Convention on the Rights of the Child. This convention was ratified on March 2, 1993, paving the way for this convention to come into effect in the country. According to UNICEF, there are over 2.2 billion children at present, the majority of them being in developing countries such as Papua New Guinea. Many times, these children are not taken care of by those responsible, whether it be their parents, state agencies, etc. Let's take a look at some negative issues affecting children in PNG.
My name is Tauna Wong and I am a grade 6 student at Korobase International School. Today I am privileged to be invited by the UNICEF to come and speak to you about some of the issues that affect the children in PNG. We would like to ask our good government to hear our cries and support us in meeting our needs in one way or another. One of the issues a lot of children face is alcohol and drug-related problems. Underage children observe and watch adults consume alcohol and drugs and imitate them. This has led to the alarming rise in underage alcohol consumption. It is saddening, isn't it? We would like to ask the government and the law enforcing bodies to take the tougher measures to prevent underage alcohol and drug consumption in the community. There are children our age or even younger wandering around everywhere without their parents. This is the result of domestic violence, parent separation, extramarital problems, and children being neglected. What can be done about these children? There should be a way to establish affordable education so every child goes to school. Every child should learn to read and write in a formal classroom. Education is the answer to poverty.
While many children are preparing to celebrate Christmas, there are also those who are not fortunate enough to afford celebrations. This is evident in the increasing number of children that can be seen selling various items in public areas. More often than not, these children are being forced to do so to ensure that they raise enough money to maintain themselves as well as their families.
Lo place misa salimo loli na sampla loli smooth boy misa salim lo place emplo morning breakfast dina na bolo school na now emango lumi mi kam lo Moresby na ango lumi buy molisla something na now mi salim staff.
It must be noted that not all parents force their children to sell items.
Mama when mi plus akira belly long big morning because of lo tingin beginning future of lo beginning mi plus sakira sleep one day more beginning so that's why mi plus come sit down or same lo sun rain come down sun come but no proper building but mi plus thinking future of lo beginning but stop good la leader long behind. So that's why Mama mi plus salimo clothes kukaike one ma even though police running mi plan but police governor mi plan thank you also mi usa look sabelo need long mi plan Mama lo lugadim ol piginini lo future lo isla country. Osana mido thank you the all mamol sana barre lo mi mol second mothers kind of semol money got money finish ingat business finish only kisim ground lo mi bla market lo mi bla but you give him back market na you to give me bla long back me as a leader Janet Manda me to thank you lo you na bele people me bla na me bla put in place clear out lo EMTV me bla no talk seven but somehow all you don't sabe lo need lo me bla na all walk about one kind because all two and beginning all in school one kind all that need to one kind only campaign him me bla lo kind where ting lo me bla mama where me bla sa film pen lo lugar in beginning long and now me bla stand up na me bla give him all this la bele people me bla so me bla to thank you long kabana me bla to thank you mom because you man bla accent so still by you look at him all beginning somehow some planted mankiol fail finish but you concern of school be you will make him because me bla papa mama sa sira lo market need long all beginning me bla sa silip me bla no sa silip good me bla sa kam siron lo sun rain me bla sa siron because of lo thing beginning.
Through the United Nations General Assembly adoption of the International Convention on the Rights of the Child Treaty in 1989, all signatories to the UN have committed to ensure children are given the right to education, best health service, and given the opportunity to succeed in life. 2014 marks the 25th anniversary of this treaty. While there has been progress made in regards to fulfilling this treaty, there is still more to be done. The UN had declared 2014 as the year of innovation, purposely to bring together countries to discuss how the rights of children can be further implemented. In Port Moresby, a number of primary schools gathered at the University of Papua New Guinea last month to celebrate World Children's Day. In Papua New Guinea, there is still more to be done to ensure that children are given the best opportunity to succeed. Our aim is to put a smile on every child and to hear every child's voice.
Hello again, you're with Skul Bilong U. Up next, we'll have a look at the only teachers' college which trains teachers to teach in the rural areas of Papua New Guinea.
Providing education for children in rural Papua New Guinea is challenging. The ruggedness of the terrains, the rundown state of infrastructure, coupled with the lack of teaching materials, compounded with a shortage of teachers, make it difficult for children to be given an acceptable standard of education. Basic services in rural areas are also a major hindrance given the lack of access to electricity and water. This makes it difficult for teachers to teach in rural Papua New Guinea.
Teachers have the responsibility to foster confidence among public in standards of service that can be expected from all in this important task of teaching future leaders.
But there is hope for education in rural Papua New Guinea. On Thursday, December 4, 2014, 75 Papua New Guineans graduated with diplomas in teaching from Bomana Sacred Heart Teachers College. The college, run by the Catholic Church, has been established primarily to train teachers to teach in rural parts of the country. The college has trained teachers who have been posted to many parts of the southern region.
Access to education, universal basic education in the rural, remote and isolated parts of the southern region of Papua New Guinea continues to be extremely challenging and under-resourced. Sacred Heart is only supplying a few. There are more schools out there that are still closed.
Trainees who have graduated from the Sacred Heart Teachers College have been able to do so through assistance from government, NGOs, as well as faith-based organizations. A good number of trainees completed their training through support from the European Union's Human Resource Development Fund. This fund exists to help support efforts in improving basic education in rural PNG. The Catholic Church, the New Zealand Aid, the Business Professional Women Club in Port Moresby, and the Mountain Missionary have also played their part in supporting students attending the college. With the majority of trainees coming from rural areas themselves, they have been quick to embrace lessons learned and are now ready to put into action what has been taught.
DVDs that have copies of their teaching resources for planning and teaching, pupils' resources, and they're all being copied on DVDs and external hard drives to take away. It's up to them to find themselves a laptop or a computer to make use of all that is going to be given to them.
Bishop of Pereira, Rokus Tatamai, who has had first-hand experience working in rural PNG, has also encouraged these new graduates to strive for excellence, to realize the importance of their profession and their important role in educating the future leaders of PNG.
Sacred Heart Teachers College, Bomana, with a vision and commitment to focus on touching hearts, educating minds, transforming lives through remote area teacher education. This is your vision and mission. This is your desire and dream to make a difference in the hearts of individuals, families, communities by touching hearts with a genuine and honest attitude to your profession, as well as to transforming the lives of your school children, which goes beyond future generations.
The fourth batch of graduating teachers also left with a certificate to teach EQTV.
We have EQTV. It started last year, and this is the second lot we are getting this EQTV certificate to teach EQTV. We started it during our practice teaching. We haven't go out, but we were in the college doing this EQTV practice. Our lesson with our lecturer, Mrs. Bolokon and Mrs. Pongi.
Students have developed not only academically, but socially and spiritually within their years of training. Graduation day was not only a proud moment, but also an emotional time for them. Most of these teachers were handpicked by the leaders and community members within their own respective villages and have come a long and challenging way to complete their training. Sacred Heart Teachers College is the only teachers college in the country that does not select students straight from grade 12 to come for training.
Sacred Heart Teachers is very special to me because it is taking non-school leavers to train them to go back to the remotest parts of Papua New Guinea to educate their own people. Students, these teachers are taken from their own remote places to train them, and they go back.
Touching hearts, educating minds, and transforming lives through remote education was the mission given to these new teachers to make a difference wherever they go to teach.
extractive industries brought immense wealth to Pacific Island countries? That was the debated topic that brought together 3 Melanesian countries to debate on the issues affecting Melanesian countries.
Debaters from Solomon Islands, Vanuatu and Papua New Guinea converged on Port Moresby for the 2014 Melanesian School Debate Competition. The competition brought together representatives from these countries to debate on issues affecting Melanesia. Has the extractive industries brought immense wealth to the Pacific Island countries? This was the issue put forward in the grand final of the Melanesian debate competition. Solomon Islands went up against host PNG in the decider. Entity Governor Powes Pakop, who is also the debate patron, was pleased with the outcome of the competition and was excited at the prospect further growing this event in the future. Governor Pakop also called on debate organizers to also connect with other countries to ensure the competition's growth.
Beginning 6 years ago with the school debate, no one thought they would come this far, but we have now gone regional or sub-regional, and the future can only get better. It can go Pacific, go Australasian. Maybe we can bring the New Zealand and New Australian team on. What do everybody think? Bring them on.
Vani Nades, Institute of Business Studies Associate Director, who was instrumental in putting together the Melanesian Challenge, was extremely pleased with the outcome. In the last 6 years, Nades had been responsible in growing the debate competition in PNG from provincial to national and now to a regional level.
This is one way of empowering our youth to be the agent of change. And the issues you're discussing are current. So when you grow up, or when you go into uni or working arena or being in the House of Parliament, you have to think of what you can do to make a difference or contribute positively to nation building.
After a tight tussle, PNG narrowly edged out Solomon Islands to take out the title as Melanesian debate champions. Emmeline White, a student from Notre Dame Secondary School, was outstanding in the debate and was rewarded for her participation.
I represented my school, Notre Dame Secondary School, and we debated against the other schools inside Western Highlands Province. We beat them and we won, and then we had to represent Western Highlands Province to debate in the nationals. When we came to the nationals, we debated against other provinces. And from debating in the nationals, they chose each best speaker from each school that debated. And from those 2 best speakers, they chose the 6 best speakers, and they represented Team PNG. It's been a very challenging week for us, meeting up with new people coming from other countries, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've gained a lot of confidence since I've started debating. It has helped me a lot. I've learned to critically analyze and think, like, for example, in rebuttals and stuff, and it's very nice. I would encourage people, young students, to get in and debate so that they can learn a lot of new stuff, debate against issues affecting our country, and voice their opinions.
Denmark Pahu from Solomon Islands was grateful for the opportunity to be a part of the Melanesian Challenge, as he believed the debate had enhanced his public speaking skills.
The experience that we had here was really nice, being out from our country into another country, experiencing what others country have to offer in terms of the economic and political aspects. Public speaking, I believe, is for everyone. So that is the new skills I learned, is that if you want to be a public speaker, then you have to come out of the silence. In the Solomon Islands, we do not have the selection like the PNG they did. In PNG, they have the national debate competition, and then they selected them. But in the Solomon Islands, we don't have any national debating competition, but they look at the skills on how people perform in front of the crowd, like public speaking skills. So in Solomon Islands, they just selected randomly on those criteria: public speaking and constructive ideas and all this. And so the Ministry of Youth and Youths, they did the selection with the advice from the English panel of Solomon Islands, and they selected us. And we were surprised on how we were selected, and we were really indeed happy, because we are not only representing ourselves, we are the Solomon Islands. We represent Solomon Islands to be part of this debate.
With the successful completion of the Melanesian debate competition in PNG, all eyes will now look to Vanuatu, who play host to the 2015 Melanesian School Debate.
Welcome back to the final episode of Skul Bilong You. Earlier this month, the Japanese International Cooperation Agency JICA officially handed the media education equipment over to the National Department of Education. Here are some highlights of that event.
Enhancing quality in teaching through TV programs, otherwise known as EquiTV, is a project that produces daily TV model lessons for mathematics and science, distributing them to students and teachers in Papua New Guinea primary schools through EMTV. The project is a joint initiative of the governments of Papua New Guinea and Japan. Currently, there are approximately about 120 primary schools receiving TV model lessons.
Say that the government of Japan has contributed immensely to the development of education in Papua New Guinea. Japan has assisted the Department of Education to the development of instructional educational television programs to provide quality teaching and learning and quality resources for the students and teachers. We are passionate about the education of our children. Children are our number one focus and number one client in our education system. Children are our national asset and our future for human capital that will affect national development. We need to pay more attention and develop this renewable resource for better sustainable Papua New Guinea. This means of accessing and improving quality is a way forward for PNG. National government intervention is very much needed to improve access, quality, retention, efficiency and quality. This is the challenge urgently needed to be resolved, and we are grateful that the government of Japan has come in time to assist through the cultural grant aid which we are witnessing today.
The purpose of this project is to improve quality of classroom teaching in primary schools in Papua New Guinea, as well as to support the implementation of the curriculum reform. Many teachers in PNG need more training for quality classroom teaching, especially for mathematics and science, and most schools do not have enough or lack the proper teaching tools. In order to make up for these shortcomings in primary education, the governments of PNG and Japan produce TV model lessons to be utilized by teachers and help their classroom teaching.
Japan has been working with government of PNG, especially with Department of Education, to enhance quality education. And one of important cooperation on this issue is to promote the dissemination of this EquiTV program, which include developing media educational materials for primary schools. Technical cooperation on this area started from 2002 through the partnership with Sony Corporation, and later on it was followed by project for enhancing quality in teaching through TV program, which is called as EquiTV Project Phase 1, and project for enhancing access and capacity of EquiTV program, which is an ongoing project and called as EquiTV Project Phase 2.
To achieve the project goal, project members and experts are working together to produce and deliver good samples of TV model lessons based on PNG's curriculum reform.
This time, Japanese government provided the media center with most advanced media education equipment under the cultural grant assistance, which will be able to realize the production of educational DVD and TV programs with much higher quality than ever before. The introduction of this media equipment makes it possible for the media center to film actual lessons at the classroom in Ward Street Primary School. By shooting actual lessons by teachers and students at the classroom, the media programs will become much more real and give viewers the real sense of taking lessons at the classrooms. The new equipment donated this time also will enable the media center to produce much more effective media education programs in much broader ways.
The Department of Education and Japan's International Cooperation Agency commenced a project for enhancing access and capacity of EquiTV program since May 2012. On 11 December 2014, a handover ceremony for media education equipment was launched at Ward Street Primary School and the National Media Center in Port Moresby. They saw Japan handing over brand new additional equipment to the PNG government through the Department of Education. The project equipment will support and benefit teachers, students, parents, the wider community and the country at all.
Receiving emergency items from UNICEF last week to prepare schools for natural disasters, Education Secretary Dr. Michael Tapo spoke about some of the achievements of the Department of Education throughout this year and also highlighted some of the department's plan for next year.
Natural disasters are one factor that puts a strain on the human and economic development in Papua New Guinea. Disasters like tidal waves, flood, volcanic eruptions, and landslides result in deaths and cause significant damage when they strike an area. As human resources are an integral part of a developing society like Papua New Guinea, the National Department of Education, in partnership with Post-PNG and UNICEF, has taken a brighter initiative to help students nationwide in preparing for emergencies.
These are all in preparation for emergencies. Department of Education and UNICEF, we have been working on this, developing contingency plans and so on and so on. Within the contingency plans, these are some of the activities that to be done. You need to provide the supplies, the pre-positioned supplies. And the idea also is not to just put them in Port Moresby. And this is why we have the logistic crew, distribute them on behalf of the education department to distribute them to the provinces.
The emergency items not only consist of the school in a box kit to assist students, but also a family kit to support their families during times of disaster.
And we started this exercise from last year, and up to this year, we managed to get all the 22 provinces to have these supplies. As the Secretary also was trying to allude from the beginning, these things are meant to be used properly. They are not meant to just sit there, and is meant for the children, and we hope together, we will make sure that the children, who are meant to receive this are using this in their provinces, in their villages, in their schools, and also the idea of some people making suggestions of using the school in a box in some of the remote areas, not necessarily during emergencies, that maybe will benefit.
These emergency items will be distributed to 9 provinces by early next year. Post PNG will start with the distribution once the other 5 containers containing the emergency items arrive in the country.
Post PNG is the government's logistics provider. We have our approximately 45 locations across PNG in all the main centres with our own business and Post PNG employees.
The standards-based curriculum is one of the Department of Education's initiatives to improve the standard of education in the country starting next year. Advanced preparation is one way to ensure that students' learning continues even when disasters strike.
Partnership like what we have with UNICEF, where we are now catering for children from 5-year-old to 12-year-old to 18 or 19 years old children, from ECCE, early childhood care and development education, to people in.
While 2014 is coming to an end, the Education Secretary of Papua New Guinea, Dr. Michael Tapo, wishes students, parents, and Papua New Guinea a belated Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year 2015. The Secretary also acknowledged the efforts teachers put into educating students throughout the year and would like to encourage students to work hard next year.
Thank you. Welcome to the program for 2014 as we conclude the 2014 academic year. On behalf of the Education Ministry and Minister Nick Kuman, Honorable Nick Kuman, the Minister for Education, the government, let me thank the Honorable Dion government for 2014 for having to resource education in such a way that in 2014 we can say, as we conclude the year, that we are very happy that although we cannot do everything under the sun for what has happened for this year, I'd say the education has had a very successful year. Our outputs in terms of performance is not only about money, but more than that, it's about, we have about 1.77 million children in school this year. That's our output. If you want to say, is education important? This year we got 1.77 children in school this year. And next year, our output, if you want to say, is education doing its job? Next year we will be expecting over 2 million children in school. So that's how we measure our output, and that is we have 1.77 children in school this year who are in school from elementary prep all the way to grade 12. It's a very, this year we also graduated some 21,000 plus children from grade 12. And if someone is saying, well, what are you going to do with them? But that's our output. Those are the people who are 18 years or 19 years of children who are now leaving the grade 12 and are going to go where they go. Our job is to make sure that now they can read and write. Now they can decide whether they're sick or not sick, and they can decide whether they're hungry or not hungry, or whether they want to go for employment or not. That's the job of education. All right, our job is not about employment. Our job is about preparing people fit to be able to decide what they want to do. A lot of people mix education for the dropouts, they mix education for being a pilot, they mix education to be a nurse. No, our job is to make sure you are ready, then you can say, I want to be a nurse, and I want to be a pilot. I want to go to university. That's the job of general education, and that's where education. So our output this year, I can say that we are very thankful as we conclude the year that we got 1.7 children who actually now are completing their different levels of schooling and are happy. If they're grade 12, there are 21,000 of them that have actually completed grade 12. The others are still completing their school education as we conclude. So that's, I'd like to thank the government for helping to put the education as a priority, so we are able to make sure that the output of school system, so school education, is now being fulfilled. And so that's first. The second thing is I'd like to thank the teachers. Teachers are out there in the remote areas, in the very remote areas, in the urban and maritime provinces, and those in the what they call rural and urban schools have done well. But that's not the end, because a lot of our schools still, we got 2014, let me thank them for the job they've done so far on behalf of the Teaching Service Commission, on behalf of the ministry, on behalf of the provinces. There's a lot of things that I would also like to, in thanking the teachers for the job well done, I would also like to put some advice for us in 2015, that as the report come out from the community, we have a lot of schools reporting teachers leaving schools, and not the schools all throughout the year. The number of days teachers have not been in school, people have complained about that, so I'd like to encourage them in 2015 to make sure that teacher absenteeism is reduced. We also like to encourage that school curriculum resources, all the resources that are packed away in the classrooms, have not been opened up, should be made available for students. There are some curriculum resources that are in schools that teachers and students don't use. And then we also like to thank the Board of Management and the Board of Governors and Governing Council members for managing schools. My concern this year is that although you've done a good job, there's a lot of people who term expired and have not renewed the expiry date, so those board of members must renew their membership and get it approved by Provincial Education Board and by the Minister for Education in the case of national institution, so that those board of governors are the government of the institution and must be seen to make sure that all the school resources are there. So let me thank the board of school boards, board of governors, board of governing council, that you've done good, but you can do better. There are some signals coming out that I would also like to encourage people in 2015. There are some board of governors or school boards, let me say, could do better, but they are not. They're interfering with the running of the institutions. They're interfering with the land that the schools are seated on. They're interfering with the principals of schools. They're interfering with the usage of the money in schools. So while we have, most boards have done well, also a reminder to our people who have influenced the running of the schools to now rethink about the quality education next year to make sure that those standards are fulfilled. That is, the running of the institutions must be able to be run the way the law allows it to be done. So that's also a request to all the school boards to make sure that they are the government of that institution and make sure that they are under the law to make sure that the school is run the way it should be, so that our children will be able to benefit from it, our teachers and our school community. So that's school boards. While you've done well, I would like to make sure that in 2015 you lift up your performance to make sure that all those maladministration and management addressed in 2015. For our students, this year, in terms of running, there's not been a lot of complaints, but particularly for senior schools, like national high schools and some of the technical institutions, there are some behavior problems from our adult students. While I thank the rest of the population for running a smooth year, I also like to remind our children who go to those schools that they have a father and mother, they have a guardian, all of us do, all right? And therefore, we owe this to our parents, we owe this to our guardians, we owe this to our community where we are from. And some of our children are adopting the wrong attitude to discipline problem, and some of our children are not even coming to the school year now, break. Let me encourage people to stay away from heavy smoking, stay away from beer, stay away from drugs. I'm relaying this message on behalf of our parents, our community, and I think our law enforcement people like police, on their behalf to the children, please. You are not at ease to do everything you want under the sun and stay out of trouble this Christmas, because your future is very important. This country needs everyone that can actually go and contribute to the development of Papua New Guinea. But some children already, like in Port Moresby and in Ley, already entering into, they're going to the group, we call it the hooligan group, so that where they work together. It's not the right term to use on the television, but it's probably the best to describe it, that you got to stay away from, because when you mingle up, student activation is so important to people to grow, but same time it can be worse too. You develop bad habits, and then you end up being in trouble, and your parents, your guardians, and the community will not enjoy Christmas and New Year and throughout next year if you pick up a bad attitude and you go there. So this is for our students out there to give them to
And that's all we have for the final episode of this program for the year. Log on to our website www.emtv.com.pg to view the program once more. You can also email the Skul Bilong You team on the following email addresses regarding any news and information about your school. With that, we'll see you all next year with more education stories. Once again, happy belated Merry Christmas, and may you all have a blessed week and safe New Year celebrations. Goodbye for now.